we are live again. We'll give a minute for everyone to join. I'll write in the comments the word Shruti, which means transmigration. Greetings everyone again. Thank you for your patience while we set up the technicalities. It happens. But we have time, right? Okay, we are back. When I teach intense philosophy, you're focused on yourself. So the disturbance that it could cause is inside. When I wish to teach how to affect the world outside, the resistance manifests outside. That's why this morning we had maybe 10 minutes of technical challenge. And it happens. It's okay. Shruti means transmigration. And transmigration, we have to explain it. If you have lived it, the students in my class, they have lived it. They understand through experience. But those who never lived it, it is a mystery to you. So we explain it. It is the least objective phenomena when you have no one to experiment with, to try it with. It is highly subjective. It is felt. When you're waiting for someone at the corner of a street and someone looks at you from behind, someone you were waiting for, you can feel, this contact. You turn around and that person is there. It's not objective. It's not scientific, because you were waiting for that person and you were expecting it. And when you look around, maybe the feeling you felt is just seeing that person. But if you remember how it feels, you felt the contact before seeing that person. That is transmigration. If someone pays attention to you, you will feel it. It's very soft. If you pay attention to someone, they will feel it. I don't like teaching through subjective experience because there's no proof. So we need experience. You will look into your left hand palm. Okay. On your left, but that one for you, I think. Oh, right. Yeah, right. Look into your left hand palm. Imagine that this palm could contain all your consciousness and all your mind. Go into it. Try to feel the bones that have flesh, the muscles. And stop. The moment that you focus intensely in your hand, the moment that you focused in being in the hand. Sensation rose. This is explained in psychology as the feather experiment, or the feather confusion. So psychologists put a thick rubber glove on someone's hand, and then they take a feather and they move the feather across the rubber glove. That would prevent the feeling of the feather, and we still feel the feather. So psychologists explain that transmigration is just a trick of the mind. But when we practice transmigration together, we feel someone else's gaze where they look at. And if they look at a shoulder, the eyes, part of the body, we feel it there, just with their eyes, looking intensely. So it's not the feather complex or the feather confusion. Transmigration is your consciousness goes where your focus is with feeling. If you're just looking with your eyes, it doesn't work. But you have your willpower from inside. I feel that. If you feel it, you want it. Then it's still subjective. So we will do various experiments today to show you the effect of your will. Some of you will fail even these experiments. Thousands of my students succeeded these experimentations because they were in groups. We worked together. They have years of experience and training. Now we do this over the web. Sorry, translators, I'll try to slow down. We do this over the internet, and there's a chance that alone you won't realize that it worked, and there's a chance that it just won't work. So we have to be patient with ourselves. For the supernatural to manifest physically, we need to be in a proper emotional state. Doesn't mean to feel positive, but to feel humble and vulnerable. Okay? Not weak as a victim, but vulnerable as being available to feelings. Okay? So we have to stretch our emotional plane first. Go inside and be humble. A soft Visantara if you want. Am I having pain in the body that disturbs me lately? Just be honest with yourself. Is there moments of loneliness? Would you give a hug to someone not available? Be humble and embrace it. Embrace it inside. If you got angry lately, did you choose it? Of course not. If anger arises, it's because you were disappointed about something. Can you find the disappointment? Anger or not, can you find a disappointment that you had lately? And just feel it. This practice of Visantara, although now it's very soft, it's useful to put ourselves in a humble state of embracing what we feel. And it will help us incarnate. Okay, let me help you. I'm living this experience with you, okay? We're all in this together. find your disappointment. Find your feeling. Embrace it. And now relax in your emotional level. Do you feel powerless lately? We won't fake feeling powerful in order to produce a supernatural phenomenon. We have to embrace if we feel powerless. Powerlessness, is it something you can feel lately? If you're at home and you cannot go out, and sometimes you feel there's nothing I can do to change this world situation, that's a feeling of powerlessness. Any effort you put in your mind to explain to yourself otherwise, this is not powerless, I'm just pissed. Well, yeah, you're pissed at what? Powerlessness, okay? Be humble and feel it. This is one of the hardest part of the supernatural. Getting someone out of their mind once they just try to protect how they feel. That's the first hindrance we have. That's the first thing that will block us. We need to be super humble and available. What is the emotion of this? That's where transmigration starts, by being real with ourselves. Good. Nice. Now, while this is not resolved, we started embracing it, hopefully. So we relax. Now we just relax, okay? In a state that we are honest with ourselves, humble with ourselves. As a first practice of transmigration, we will use our own body. Put your hands like that. Don't touch them. Of course, you just did. You shake them off. And you pay attention to both your hands with your mind. You can look at one, look at the other. This works if you're honest with yourself, if you're connected to your body, and if you're humble. Be prepared to put some will into it. Feel what your hands are made of. And try to feel your chi, your life energy. But also feel your mass, the muscles. Alright, now open your eyes and incarnate. Go into the mass of your hands. Feel them. Now you will feel that some of the mass of your left hand is being pulled back into your body. So your left hand is shrinking. Oh, first we have to make a test. Where you bend your wrist, there's a little line here, okay? Where you bend your wrist, there's a little line. Connect two lines, both lines together, okay? And you measure the length of your fingers. So they are somewhat the same length, okay? Some of you have different finger length. We test again. Oh, there's a mild difference, so I'll do it the third time. Okay, now I'm back. So you have to be sure. Test it twice at the same dimension, okay? Now you're back, your hands open. Go into the body. Feel the mass of your hand. Feel the energy, the life. If you can feel the blood flow through them. We did a practice about being emotionally available, which will help you to become physically available and feel. Okay. Now, every time you breathe in, you feel that you're pulling some resource from your left hand, and your left hand is shrinking. And as you breathe out, your right hand is expanding because new resources are being put into it to augment its size and its mass. So you breathe in and you pull in your left hand. It's shrinking. Imagine it, fake it until it's real. Feel it, want it, desire it, and expand the right hand. Make it bigger. Feel it, want it, believe it. Doesn't matter actually if you believe it. Just pretend very hard to make it like this is real now. And want it from your guts. Don't touch your hands. When you're skillful, when you breathe in, matter is switched from your left hand to your right. So every breath in, it happens. Now I just did a motion, but your hands are really doing it, okay? And you breathe out, same thing happens. And keep that movement continuous. Your left hand is shrinking in size, and your right hand is growing in size. Want it, believe it. Don't believe the size of my hand on the video. My right hand tends to be more forward because that's how I feel it, like expand. So I push it forward. So it's just that's a camera illusion, okay? Just try to live it for real. Keep going. Now you measure. Okay, and for me it's the same. My right hand is just a tad bigger. But it's not just the length, it's the finger width. Like my right fingers are even thicker in width and longer in size, okay? Good. Now you're going to switch that from your right hand, all the resources go back to your left. Okay. Expand the left hand and draw in from the right, and expand the left hand and draw in, shrink your right hand and expand the left hand. Want it, feel it, believe it. Even if you had no success with the first side, do the other. Try it. Do your best. Incarnate. Feel it. Live it. A super small right hand, a very big left hand. Relax and measure it. Alright. Well, same here. Same finger width at this point for me, but left hand much longer, 4 millimeters longer. Whatever. Bring your hand back to normal. Think about them both. And don't try to bring your hands to normal size yourself. Just think harmony. My body knows its shape and size. Balance. Peace between the hands. Balance. The natural shape. Go back to how you know yourself, my body. Go back to how you know yourself. Take time, let it settle. Just go back to a natural state. And you measure. All right. We're good? Okay. Now, some of you did not succeed that. In class, usually 10% or 5% don't succeed. There are many reasons. A pianist friend could never transmute matter or change the size of her hand with that technique, but she transformed her body's muscle structure by doing a practice for months, and she would manifest other things supernaturally, but not that. Okay. So sometimes it just doesn't work. Okay, rarely, but that's how it is. Good. So the will that you applied, if you remember how you applied your will, I want this, I want that to happen, you were focused into an intense reality. Okay? That is part of transmigration. You focus on your hands, so your consciousness involved in your hands. Now I want you to focus inside. But in your body physically. Go in your whole body. Transmigrate in your entire body, the way you just did with your hands, but fully your body. Just go into your body entirely. Be present in the body. Incarnate. Put your will into going in the body. Yeah, this is where I go intensely. Do you feel your presence there? Do you feel more something inside? That's transmigration. You put your focus and you fill yourself to feel more incarnate. So that will take practice. Okay? Now that you've done 2 local transmigration experiments, there's another experiment that we're going to do. Okay? I am with everyone paying attention to this video for ages on and now. Good. I'm now going to pay attention to your left hand. It will be stronger those who are watching the video live, but I hope there will be traces of that for the future. That will degrade over time, of course. I'm paying attention to your left hand. Everyone paying attention to this video live or later. Now, that is probably psychosomatic because you are also paying attention to your left hand. But I'm doing the transmigration, okay? Nefesha galgalim v'shemeshlim malkut. Nefesha galgalim v'shemeshlim malkut. And I'm putting something there, okay? Happy faces. Good. Now in your left hand, I'm going to switch to a feeling. This, of course, could be psychosomatic because I'm paying attention to your left hand, everyone, and you also. So it could be just in your mind, but feel, just be receptive. I'm switching now to something else. I'm switching again now to something else. And I'm switching now again to something else. Now relax. Okay. Each time I switch, you felt the difference. Because I said it, it could be in your mind, but what is similar is first when I said I'm switching from happy face to green earth nature, and it did a earthly feeling, a presence. The second switch was blue cold wind, and it switched to something damper. And the third switch was red hot fire, which augmented the energy and possibly the temperature, the tingling. So because I can't prove anything, and this is very subjective, and I don't like teaching subjective, the only thing that can make sense is that I told you it was happy faces when I did happy faces. That was to put yourself in the mood. But then it was the green earth, cold blue wind, red hot fire. And that made changes that make sense with these kind of feelings. It's the only thing that I can say to demonstrate. Yes, I believe it did, but not for everyone. Okay? Feeling chi, okay, relax that. Le fazer. Okay. Feeling chi and feeling consciousness is so subtle that those who don't know how to feel it will have difficulty feeling it. Okay? So now, you will use two fingers like this, laser guns, laser fingers, and you'll shoot in your own hand. You have to want from inside a powerful laser to come out of your hands and go into your left palm. If you're too close, you might be feeling the heat of your body. So stay with a distance, 10 centimeters, 4 inch. That's good. Don't measure, like more or less. Okay, just not close. Shoot the laser in your left hand. Ah! Try to feel it in your left hand, and as you have to point in it and not go like this. It has to be like this. Okay. Go down to your elbow. Feel it in your elbow. And back up in your arm. Shoot that laser. It's coming out. Use your imagination, a white or a red stream of power. Do it. Then you switch hands. With the left hand, you're shooting your right. Come on. Want it. Laser. And you relax. That is also an exercise to feel your own chi, your own life force. Okay. So all of these were experiences in transmigration, where you focus on something with willpower and it produces an effect. Of course, the effect is highly subjective. It's not objective. And that's the part I do not appreciate of being so far away and confined. We can't validate easily. In seminar, we are 50 people, for example, or 100 people, 2 by 2, doing it to one another, changing feelings and colors and states of being, and the other describes it how they felt it. So you get to validate with the witness, and still whatever you perceive is interpreted, of course. Whatever you perceive is filtered by your own human ego and mind. As you become better in transmigration, you're less and less limited to this belief that your consciousness is limited to your body or your nervous system. Okay. So, the first supernatural siddhi we practice, if you've done other siddhis, it's better. The more experience you have, the better. So we practice Shruti. I think I wrote it, but I'll write it again. Which means transmigration. Transmigration is your consciousness goes where you focus, and the will you put in it will amplify the phenomena. So now you will just meditate for 2 minutes, Shruti, without willpower. You'll just think about how flexible is your consciousness, and how everything can go, your consciousness can go wherever you want. But now you want to be in your own body. Incarnation is transmigration into you. Thank you, Raven, for writing it. A transmigration in your own self, in your own body, is a form of transmigration. It's incarnation. It's being present. So now you meditate Shruti on yourself. Shruti. This will naturally pull more and more of your consciousness to incarnate in your body, because your focus is your own body. Shruti. It is not the siddhi of incarnation, but it produces incarnation, while you use yourself as a focus for your Shruti. Shruti. Just makes your consciousness dance in your body. Take a deep breath and relax. Now, I'm going to ask you to go get 2 glasses of water. I had prepared mine. Now go and get 2 glasses of water. If you can, similar glasses, and filled at the same level. Okay? 2 glasses of water. And when you're back, it can be 2 bottles of water. And when you're back, you just contemplate yourself relaxing. I have to believe that some are back, but that some might be missing. So be patient. Just relaxing and being with yourself. Good. I will consider that everyone is back, although it's not the case. We move on to the next city that we learned today, Rasavada. Rasavada, which means alchemy, transmutation of matter. With the Siddhi Shruti and the Siddhi Rasavada, both these teachings require past experience in many other topics. The more personal growth you've done on yourself, the more your Shruti and your Rasavada will be. The more transformation of yourself you've done emotionally, the more transmutation of mass you can do. The less you need to be right, and the more humble you are to feel, the more your Shruti will work. Okay? So it's a question of personal growth and training. Shruti is transmigration, Rasavada is alchemy, transmutation of mass. Okay. So now you just contemplate the Siddhi Rasavada. That mass can transmute. That matter can change. Rasavada. Deep breath and relax. Of the 2 glasses or bottle of water, the left one will be your monitor. You don't touch it. You just put it on the side and forget about it for a moment. And you taste the right one. The water has a taste of some sort. We will do Shruti, then Rasavada. Okay. First, you focus on the glass of water and you practice Shruti with your mind in the water itself. I am that water. I focus inside the glass or the bottle, contemplating becoming the water. Try to feel that I am the water. It's better if you keep your eyes somewhat open and not transcend. You want to be present. When you did Shruti with yourself, you had a sense of incarnation. That water feels that sense of incarnation projected in it. Use your imagination to make it real. Shruti. The feeling of incarnation I had in my body, now I live it in this water. I am there. The liquidity, the fluidity of that water, the temperature, what it's made of, its clarity, its texture, its viscosity, which is almost absent. I am that water. Shruti. With a focus on this water, Shruti. I am the water of this glass. And now I think in this glass there are minerals. I augment them. Every particle of mineral multiplies and doubles, becoming more and more. And some particles just multiply, while other atoms of water just become a mineral, like the mineral around them. Make it into heavy water. Make it into highly mineralized and salty water. Salty. Think about the taste of salt and feel it in that water. Rasavada. This water is heavy in metals and salty. Me, as this water, I am highly metallic and salty. Rasavada, alchemy, transmutation of matter. Metallic, salty, metallic, salty. Feel it rich and relax. Relax. Take a sip. Pay attention to the aftertaste once you swallowed. The traces of metal that are left on your tongue. Yeah. And maybe salty. All right. Take the first glass that you did not change, the monitor, and taste it. So you can experiment the difference. Then you go back to the metallic one. While you get in, and then the aftertaste. And then the monitor again. To see the difference. Yeah, highly metallic and salty water is shit. One more step and it's sewage. Okay. This works, the Shruti will work if you have done a lot of work on your denials, pride, shame and fear. If you accept to be flexible. Rasavada will work mostly if you've done work with every other mask of the ego, but mostly the emotion, that's the important one, where you can change, transform. Shruti and Rasavada are two cities that work together. Shruti gets your consciousness into something until you can somewhat become that thing. And Rasavada is the feeling of change with the focus and the will that you have, the intention that you want as a destination result. Okay? I will ask you to practice this later today. When you do a simple meditation to augment that power of transmutation and of course transmigration first, you will start with a simple Shruti on yourself. But you train yourself Shruti on yourself and then Shruti outside on something else. Because you don't want to train that Shruti is only about you and make a mental link like if it was Swasthya. Swasthya is always yourself. There's another video in previous class about Swasthya if you did not get that. Swasthya is the same thing but about you with much more information. Shruti is whatever's your target, but you practice with you, with your own body. It will feel very incarnate. But then you want to practice with other things later, okay? So that you learn Shruti is your consciousness goes efficiently wherever you focus on. Okay. Then Rasavada, you focus on you. The alchemy inside me is making me healthy. Rasavada, a balanced pH, balanced blood, good nutrients, changing the toxins and the poisons into healthy food for my cells. Rasavada. Toxins into nutrients. Whatever that means, you don't need to understand the chemistry. your body has a direct experience of toxins and nutrients, of what is in favor of its health and in disfavor of its health. It knows. You just think about the feeling of intoxication, switch that to nutritious resource, and the city of alchemy, Rasavada. So while you practice the city, you practice with yourself, but then you'll practice with something else to show that it's anything that you can validate. Then you'll do an exercise with a fruit. You'll have an apple, and you'll think in your mind, actually take 2 apples from the same batch, always have a monitor that is not altered, and you try to touch it only with the tip of your fingers. Because if you hold it entirely in your palm, the heat from your palm can change the way the gases and the liquids act, which will change the taste or how you have it. So you don't want to change the temperature of the apple, okay, while you focus on it. So use your fingertips, okay, and take it by the tips and not on the edge that you would bite the apple. Just to have one more scientific objective, like if it was not entirely subjective. If you are 2 people, you get 4 apples. You both have a monitor and you both have an actual one. And then you take another fruit. I recommend orange or banana, but it can be any fruit. And you do Shruti for 1 minute to become the apple. It's not just that your consciousness goes into the apple. It's for you to feel that you become the apple, because you are the one changing. Okay, once you are the apple. It's kind of a mix of identification with the consciousness of the apple. And then you think banana or orange, you switch, you change. And there will be a change to the color, maybe. That's the hardest one. The flavor is the easiest one. But many get a change of texture. And you take a bite in your apple, and then you take another one, and you try to find it, but you take your first monitor apple, okay? And then, if you're with a friend, if they don't have sickness that can be transmitted through the mouth, just stay healthy, basically, you will taste their apple before they tell you what was their focus fruit, their change, okay? Like if they tried kiwi or peach or strawberry, whatever, and they'll try yours, okay? And you talk about it, and then you go back to the monitor, the unchanged apple, and you finish with that, just to compare. That is the most objective way to measure something that is hard to believe in, okay? And that's why I usually teach this in group, and this is the first time I ever teach it online. Changing the finger length, affecting water, then to try with a fruit. Simply because there's too much risk of being bullshit, of being falsification. 90% of people, 95 lately in the last 2 years, because I had more advanced students, 95% succeeded. I don't know what will be the success rate at home. And there's people who watch this video for the first time, like with 3 months of spiritual training and not 5 years, and think it doesn't work. Well, work on yourself first. Watch all my other videos on YouTube and then try alchemy and see how far it goes. It's just a mild influence. It's not changing water into wine. Although I've got students who've done that. I've got my 2 favorite examples is Karunapsa, who changed cold water into hot coffee. It took half an hour, but it was her practice. And Ole in Denmark who changed a block of a block of blue cheese into apple, meaning it was still white, but it was now apple. The flesh, the taste, the juice, the water in it. I mean, it was blue cheese to apple. Okay, it's cube. And these are complete changes. A complete transmutation is the equivalent of a miracle. Therefore, it uses about 1 year of resource, of supernatural resource. And then you are without supernatural power for about a year. Okay? Or a few weeks, depending on, your experience, I guess. Every supernatural thing you do also requires supernatural resource. The most obvious for us to understand is the elements. As you chant the elements, just to feel, just to have it, just to be with them, they grow, they accumulate. And then you use them. You use the resource. You spend them. So if you do a lot of supernatural and never recharge, you're going to end up empty and tired. For the physical body, it uses to do a mild water alteration. It uses the energy of about 2-3 orgasms, okay, or a marathon, okay, or it could be both. If a marathon is a few orgasms, and that was I tried a joke, it didn't work, maybe. It uses the energy about the body a lot. It could make you tired, okay? So you need to rest, okay? So practice Shruti only in you relaxing without will, just the focus. And then you practice Rasavada without the supernatural intention, just relaxing. Just allowing it to happen, but don't spend too much, don't invest your resource, just relax into it and let it happen. And don't always do that. Shruti and Rasavada is something you practice a few times and then you have to stop and go to other things. Okay? You can't charge those. You'll deplete your resources. So go and do practice and chant the prayers. Take a few days and just do simple elemental things and feel something nice inside. Do good personal growth. I really don't like teaching subjective stuff. I'm trying to push it to the most objective thing. But if I never teach it and never record it, it won't get known to the world. Suffice to say, in laboratories, there are people who change water like that and measure it. Okay, William Tiller is one of the many experts who has scientific demonstration of the effect of consciousness on water in the most rigid scientific protocol. Hermetically closed, measuring the pH of the water over a period of time. And he alters the pH of water without any other intervention than his own looking at it, doing his transmigration. So that's one example. There's many, many more. Okay. Science is studying that phenomenon, but it is not accepted a lot. But this is the beginning of alchemy. If one day you have practiced so much this specific skill set, the main purpose is to keep yourself healthy, but it has its limits. You can't do more change than the amount of supernatural resource you have, and that too, that quantity is immeasurable, unmeasurable, and subjective. Okay, So it's through practice and repetition that you will discover the efficiency of transmutation. Yeah, the science of intention, you can check that out too. There's a lot of things to discover. So the cities I teach about this is Shruti, which is Transmigration, and Rasavada, which is alchemy. And I give many more other teachings about Rasavada. Look on my past videos about the elements. Okay, you'll have some of that. About the Vajrabhudam. Okay. Good. I hope that was fun. Tomorrow we play another transmigration game. So tonight practice with Shruti and Rasavada. And don't spend too much resource. Just practice just to feel it. Tomorrow we'll do another game. And because we do another game of Transmigration tomorrow, which will be funky, I'm asking you not to do anything that is intentionally supernatural, to try it. Just rest. You want to accumulate your resource. And tomorrow we do a game. Then you will have your entire week to practice it. Peace.